Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stamp It Up with Jamie. If you're catching this on replay, thank you so much for watching. Certainly let me know if you have any questions at all. I'd love to be of help to you. I apologize for the little kerfuffle like a second ago. I'm trying a different, I was trying a different way of holding my phone tonight because my stand broke the other day. And I guess it was upside down. So I'm sorry if you started to catch my other live. Hopefully this one will work fine. I'm just trying to get that in closer. Okay. Hello, Kay from North Carolina. Hello, everyone. Hi, Lynn. How's everyone doing? We are doing well. We're holding up. I can't complain. I feel very blessed. Actually, just to be able to be home with my kids and spend some quality time together. So I'm definitely loving that. Hi, Lori. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I was looking forward to it, just connecting, even though we're not in the same room together, city, or even state for that matter. I was definitely looking forward to connecting with you all tonight. So let's get going on my card. Here it is here. And it uses, let me show you what it uses. The flowers are from the Forever Blossoms stamp set. It does come as part of a bundle, although I'm not using the coordinating dies tonight. I'm using just the flower. I'm not even using sentiments. I'm just using this big flower here. It looks like you all are having a good time at home. We are, Terry. Yes, thank you. I'm actually having a lot of fun with my kids and just trying to make the most of it, right? So thank you. And then the sentiment is actually, not one that's too new. It's been around for, I think, a couple of catalogs now. It's the I'm lucky to have you as a friend like you from the Love What You Do stamp set. Kind of just going back to, I do love that sentiment, and I am planning on popping in this in the mail for a friend of mine. So I thought it was very fitting. So let's just get going here. You're not going to be able to tell necessarily, but the card base is petal pink cardstock. Again, it mostly all gets covered, but once you open it up, you'd be able to see the color on the inside. But from the front, you don't necessarily see that. This is our 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5 here in the middle. And then I took a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It's going to cover the entire face of the card, and it measures 4 1/4 by 5.5. This is just our Whisper White cardstock, which I love. Sorry, I just got a call. Hopefully, it's my mom. Hopefully she realizes I'm live right now and doesn't call back again. Where's my stamp? Oh my goodness, what I do? Oh, there it is. It's underneath all my stuff. So I'm going to stamp that big flower, again, from the Forever Blossom stamp set, in basic gray ink. And I'm going to stamp it twice, one on each corner of my card front here. Hi, Mom. I saw you call. I'm on my Facebook Live. I couldn't answer it. Okay, so you're going to ink this up. And, you're going to want it kind of hanging off your card. Don't have it, perfectly situated there. Don't have it on. It's going to definitely kind of fall off a little bit. It's intended. That's okay, Mom. Don't worry. Okay, so re-ink it up again. And we're going to do the same in this bottom corner here. Depending on how much you want to show is how much you have hanging on or hanging off, I guess. And then we're going to color it in. Now, let's do one thing first because, where's my cardstock? Oh, no, there it is. Okay, let's get to coloring in a second, but let's talk about this beautiful paper. This paper comes from hold on. I totally forgot the name of it for a second. Parisian Blossoms Designer Series paper. It is specialty paper because it has this beautiful champagne coloring through it, which makes it really shiny and really pretty. Beautiful script. The back is this gorgeous, I think it's pool party flowers. All of our Designer Series paper are two-sided. And this measures 2 1/4 by 5.5. So it runs the complete height of the card, and then it's just 2¼ wide. And I'm going to mat that on, oops, I thought I ran out for a second, on a piece of champagne cardstock. This measures 2 3/8. Yep, 2 3. 2 3/8 by 5½. So it has a slight mat on either side, but it as well runs the full length, full height of the card. Okay, I'm doing this first because when I was designing the card, I had colored it all in, and I was kind of playing around with where I wanted to put this panel. And I originally had it going up the middle like I do in my sample here. And then I was like, oh, maybe like really pretty kind of to the side, and that way you would see more of the flowers. And then again, maybe have the sentiment down here in the bottom. So before I get going, what do you think I should do? And I'm asking this because if I'm shifting it to the left here, I don't have to basically color most of these flowers in. Actually, we could kind of pretty much figure out like where we don't have to, no sense in coloring what ends up being covered. So I don't know. Do you think you'd like it kind of more to the left? And then you see more of this flower here and then the sentiment here. Or like in my example today, I have it going right down the middle and then have the sentiment here. So you kind of get like little peekaboos of the flowers. I didn't know what to do. I ended up going to my 13-year-old daughter, and I was like, just make the decision for me, because I kept going back and forth. In the middle? Okay. I think everyone's saying in the middle. Okay, so we'll go down with the middle. I was kind of indecisive. I didn't know what to do. Okay, I don't have a pencil. If I had a pencil, what I would do was kind of like mark. Oh, sugars, all of our pencils are upstairs because we're doing schoolwork right now. I don't have not one pencil with me, I don't think. Okay, so if you had a pencil at home, handy, which I don't, you could just kind of make a little mark on either side here. And then you only have to color up to that point. Maybe color a little bit in, a little bit more, but no sense, like I said, in coloring like this all here for sure will get covered. I guess I can kind of eyeball it. Like that gets completely covered, and so does that. So I guess I don't have to color those in. And those leaves still. Okay, anyways. So we are coloring. I'm going to use Petal Pink, Light and Dark, Stampin' Blends markers. Those are for the flowers. And Soft Seafoam. Yes, I second guessed myself for a second. Soft Seafoam, Light and Dark for the leaves. So what I like to do is I start, and I'm using the brushed end. There's a more kind of fine tip and then a brush. Because I have like a lot of space to cover, I'm going to use the brush end. And I'm starting with the light. And I'm going to try and go kind of quick on this so it doesn't take too long. But you're going to, can you see? It's hard because my camera's here on the right side of my phone and I'm right-handed. So when I color, it's like I kind of cover what I'm coloring. It's hard. I don't know if it's hard for you guys to see. So everything that's a flower, does that get covered? See, now I'm like, I'm not going to color more than I have to. Put it on. Now, the thing about the blends is that they blend while the ink is wet. So, I don't know. Normally, I wouldn't go much farther than that. I would come back because I want to make sure that that I can get the darker color on while that light color is wet still, so that it does kind of bleed together. And this stamp in particular, I'll show you in a second, like a closer up look of it. But it's very clever because it has natural, like the way Stampin' Up! Designed it. It has like these natural shadows in it. So you may not be like the world's best colorer, like I'm not. I'm really not. But they have these like natural shadows on it. So I know kind of like where to put the dark color. I feel like it's kind of cheating, but that's okay. No one needs to know. And then we have our little... Okay, so that's what it ends up looking like. It's just, I guess I can always go back if I don't do over far enough. And this is my dark. I'm going to do quickly. I was considered doing some card magic, but this doesn't take too long because it's just like one big space. It's nothing too detailed. And with the brush stroke of the blends, it really does color quickly. Okay. Now, dark. Oh, I was going to show you, well, I can still do that. Okay. So, kind of throwing the color on. It really is a very subtle blend, a subtle highlight and low light. So don't overthink it. You know, it's not like this is going in a museum or something somewhere. You don't have to be too particular about it. So what I was saying was, in this stamp set, there's natural, like these little dots, these little like shadowings. That's where you would darken. You would use your dark marker. It's like, it kind of gives us a hint. And then the soft sea foam, again, I'm using the light first, and I'm going to start with, well, I'm only using the brush end because I am, even with this, I can kind of go quickly and not have to worry too much. And if you go a little bit out of the lines, it's not the end of the world. I did on my sample for sure. I went out of the lines, but that's okay. You can always use if you want a little bit more control, just use the fine tip end. That's okay, Karen. Don't worry about it. I hope you're well. This is the dark soft sea foam. And again, I'm kind of looking for where that natural shadowing that Stampin' Up! Provided us in the stamp itself. Flip it over. I hope everyone's well and staying healthy and not going crazy, staying sane and making the most of the situation right now. I know it's not ideal for any of us. But I was saying to a friend, there's not much that we can control right now. It's so much out of our control, but we can certainly control our attitude in this time. So that's what I'm trying to focus on, even though it's challenging at times. Okay, so almost done. I guess there's a little bit there. Okay, so healthy, not sure about sane. Sane enough. Oh, thanks, Chris. I'm so glad you like it. Just watching quietly. So I've seen this done a couple times, and I always thought like, oh, I really want to try it. That's such a great like look. But I was really always kind of shied away from it because I thought, what if I do it and then I don't like it and then I just ruined everything I did? And what I'm talking about is stamping and then embossing the stamped image. So I'm trying to, there you go. Okay, I was trying to catch the lighting. See, I went back over it now with the subtle embossing folder. So it's something that I've seen before where you even like emboss like designer series paper, or you color an image or stamp an image and then you emboss it. And I always thought it was so pretty, but I was so nervous that I would do it and then hate it and then like ruin basically what I just worked on. So at this point, if you don't have like a subtle embossing folder or another one that you like, you could just leave this as is and put our designer series paper over it. And actually, I think just leaving it like this, you notice, I don't know, I think it like brings out this stamped images a little bit more, highlights them maybe, I guess is what I'm trying to say, makes them pop. But if you emboss it, it almost gives it like, I want to say like a vintage look almost. Oh, you noticed it in my sneak peek. I've never done it before, Terry. So this is the subtle embossing folder. If you've caught my videos in the past, you know this is my favorite. I want to use it on every single card and try and show a little bit of restraint. A little bit, but it's my favorite. I love it. I honestly could just use it all day, every day. So I used it, I did it, and I loved it. So again, it does kind of change the image a little bit. I thought it looked, again, a little bit more on the vintage side, maybe a little distressed. So depending on kind of your style and what you're looking for, you know, you could either do this part or not. Neat idea to use the embossing folder. I think it makes it softer. Yeah, I would agree, Melissa. I definitely think it does too. It softens the image a little bit. So off camera here, I'm just going to run it through my die cutting machine. And this is what we get. Again, it's subtle, hence the name of it. but it is really just beautiful. Love the texture it gives just subtly. Exactly, Susan. Yep, I agree. You almost have to, again, like get the lighting to catch it in order to even notice it, really. But I think it's really pretty, really soft. I think it goes nicely with the flowers. I don't know. That's what I think. So we're just going to go ahead and adhere this. If you're familiar with how I use adhesive, you would think, wow, she's using a lot of adhesive. Normally, I don't use that much. But when I'm adhering down anything that's been embossed or has a lot of texture in it, I do like to use it, a lot. Because I don't want the image popping up. I really want it staying in place. So, okay. So then now we're going to take that bit of designer series paper that I already matted on that champagne. Did I say that? I'm not sure I even said that. This is the champagne foil sheet. Beautiful, beautiful. It's not as bold as gold, but it's not necessarily as, I don't know. I think it's a really subtle, very, very pretty metallic that we have right now. Now, when I was making today's card, for some reason, I have no idea, my snail here wasn't sticking to the back of it. I was rolling it and nothing was coming off. So I'm going to use my tear and tape. Tear and tape. I always say that. It never sounds right to adhere it down. Something, I don't know. I don't know why it wasn't sticking to it, but it wasn't. And I said, forget it. I'm just going to use this stuff. I know it'll work. I know it's not going to go anywhere. This stuff really will work. This little bit for sure isn't going anywhere. Okay. Oh. So this is just like stickers. So adhere it down. And then you have to get the hard part is you have to catch the corner without peeling the whole thing up. But I love this stuff. That's the hardest part. See, I'm like pulling up the whole adhesive. So you got to be a little soft-handed. Has everybody been crafting a lot and stamping? I just mailed out, I think I mailed out 6 cards today because, letting people know I'm thinking about them and that they're on my mind. Even though, we're not being with each other. Okay, so actually I'm going to do it this way. You can be particular and kind of measure it out, but I'm going to eyeball it and say, like, that's maybe center. Maybe. Looks close enough. And this paper is gorgeous. Again, once the light hits that just right, you see the texture in the paper and you see the beautiful champagne lettering. Make sure you do that right side up, by the way. I just looked at it going, did I do that right? And I had, but I wasn't paying attention, so I easily could have done that accidentally upside down. That wouldn't have been good. Okay, so next let's do the sentiment. Again, I'll show you again. It comes from the Love What You Do stamp set, this guy up here. And I had a jigsaw puzzle on my craft table, finished it today so I can work on cards tomorrow. Oh, you mailed out at least a dozen. I know, I saw the picture, Karen. That was pretty impressive. Lynn, we love puzzles too. And so when this all started, like, I don't know, last Sunday, I think, or even a week before that, I ordered up a puzzle. And I thought, oh, this will be a good distraction for us. Our family loves to do puzzles. Well, at least me and my 2 girls do. And I said, oh, we'll do this. We did the puzzle in 3 days. So that's the problem is we sit down to do a puzzle and we just get engulfed in it. And instead of it lasting days and days on end, it was over in 3 days and then we don't have another puzzle. So anyways, okay, so we're going to do some embossing here. We're going to stamp the sentiment in Versamark ink. That's what you're going to want to use if you're heat embossing. Even though I stamped in basic gray ink, I am using gray granite cardstock. I like the color. I think it's just softer. It's not quite so harsh, not quite so gray. I mean, it's gray, but it's not so strong, I guess. Sprinkle it with white embossing powder. And then we're gonna just get our heat tool, which I have on the floor, of course. Have to go get that. And heat until it goes from a powder to a nice shine. Doesn't take long. Once it's shiny, you know you're done. Okay. I like to give it just a second to cool down because I found once I ran it right through my die cutting machine and it smeared it. The like powder was still wet. Okay, so now we're gonna cut it out. And I'm going to use the Stitched So Sweetly dies. If you don't have these dies, you need them. You absolutely need them. I use them all the time. I could use them on every single card. It's one of those. It's just so, so good. You have these beautiful stitched scalloped rectangles, which are beautiful. And then you have these awesome shapes. Like anytime we can have a different shape, something that's just different is fun. And these are all stitched as well. So I'm using the third smallest one or fourth largest one, depending on how you want to say that. And I just gotta switch my cutting machine here, my die cutting machine. Okay, sorry. I had it set up for embossing still. So I'm just gonna line it up like that and run it through my die cutting machine. These dies are funny because I didn't get them right away. They weren't like top of my list from the mini catalog. And oh my goodness, I started seeing what people were doing with them and it became very clear very quickly that I had to have them. And I'm so, so glad I did. So how beautiful is that? Stitched and scalloped. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to adhere these down. And what did I do with my... I just opened a new package of dimensionals, but of course I can't find them. Okay, we're going to have to use this old one. Look, that's all I have left of it, but I'll make do. So, as I've said in the past, I'm very particular about how I don't want to word it like that, but I am aware when I'm using dimensionals of the height. So if I were to put dimensionals on this whole thing, like on all four corners, and then adhere it down, it's going to be a little like crooked because this has two layers of it where this is flat. And I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is just put dimensionals on one side. And I'm going to have to cut this. I don't know what I do with my other ones. I literally just opened a package today of new dimensionals. Oops. Is that too long? No. Ooh, barely. That was close. I can cut those in half. Oh, yeah, I could. I just opened a package, though. I don't know where they are. They have a tendency of wandering on my craft table. So I just put adhesive. Oh, looks like a frowny face. I put dimensionals just on half of them. So the part that's going to make contact on this side. Because if not, it would be crooked, and I don't want that. And that's enough to hold it together. This part is kind of flapping in the wind, but it's not going anywhere. Hey, Julie. Hello, hello. Okay, so next, what do I want to do next? I have to say I was hesitant to put these on my card because they're not available right now, but I really wanted them on my card anyway. So maybe you happen to have them already. You already ordered them. I'm using champagne rhinestones. I usually am very particular if something's not available for, if it's like sold out or unorderable, I try not to use it in my cards, but I just can't help myself. I love these rhinestones so much and they work with my colors. So I had to use them. I hope you already have them. If not, I'm sorry. These are just the champagne rhinestones. It's the small one and the medium one. And then lastly, I'm going to make a bow with the petal pink ribbon. This has champagne running. Oh, there we go. Champagne running through either end of it. It's beautiful. So, so pretty. Very delicate. This would be a great wedding shower card. Wedding shower? Why doesn't that sound? Bridal shower card. Or I don't know. Someone that likes feminine touches. I'm going to make a fork bow because as you know, it's the only kind of bow I make. Oh, they'll be back in April. There you go. Okay. Well, that doesn't make me feel as bad. I was like, I really shouldn't use them, but I love them so much, I have to use them. To make our fork bow, you're going to take your ribbon, going to wrap it around the back of your fork over that little bit of ribbon that you started off with, and then you're going to go into the middle. So you need an odd number of prongs. And then I pulled mine to the bottom because that's the widest I can get with this fork. So I have the little bit in the back, and then this piece I'm going to hold and wound in the back. Snip your ribbon and then tie a knot. If it's not baker's twine or linen thread, this is the only way I'll make a bow, because I like a perfect bow and they're nearly impossible to make. So it comes out kind of flat, so I just kind of like squinch the ends, and it does kind of fluff them up a little bit. And then if you're unsure about your bow, what are they called? Wow, I just drew a blank. What are those things are called? You can just give them a trim. And mine, I cut one, and one going the other way, so I'm going to even it out because I want them kind of both angled the same direction. Like that, which means now I have to cut this one a smidge. No big deal. Whoops. Ah, get back here. It's running off. Okay, get rid of those. Take one look at it. Make sure it looks good. I like to fluff it up a little bit. And I wasn't sure where to put it. I don't know. I usually don't just randomly put a bow. I like to have it anchored, so to speak, which means, I'll have a panel of ribbon running down the back, and then I'll have that over it. But I don't know. If it's tucked kind of next to a sentiment, I don't mind that it's kind of floating. Normally I don't do that though. Okay, so I did put it kind of in the corner here, right next to the sentiment. If you'll notice, if you look back in my like sneak peek earlier, this was definitely an afterthought, and I did it right before I took the picture. So you can actually see the glue is still wet in the picture. It's still white. Okay, I put like a little dab of glue and then my ribbon over it. Then I take a block of choice, and I want a bigger one. And I put it right over it, hold it in place, come back in like a half an hour or so, and it'll be nice and dry. Whoops. Nice and dry and not going anywhere. And that would be your final product. So if you've been watching and you have yet to leave a comment and you would like a chance to win tonight's card, quickly make some sort of a comment, an emoji, whatever, into the comments. And as soon as the video is done here, I'll draw a name for someone to receive tonight's card. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of the product, be sure to let me know. Celebration is ending really soon, so don't forget to get your orders in to earn that free product. You have until next Tuesday. And if you have any questions about that, certainly let me know as well. Thank you everyone for joining me. I so appreciate spending my evening with you. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next week.